Yes.
So let's move on to Nashville. Another beautiful Saturday here in Atlanta. Watched the game on the back deck. It was great. And as that game started, I was in pretty good spirits the first bit of that game.
I liked the lineup. What did you think?
I liked it too. I think.
I mean, considering there was no Papa Giorgio,
Yeah,
right?
consider there's no Papa Giorgio. As you and I have discussed, I would rather see Ibarra in front of Sosa.
Yeah.
And they played Josetu, who's just not getting it done. And then that was probably my biggest issue with the lineup is I would rather see Ibarra. I don't know if he's injured or whatever from that tackle but yeah, I would like to see Ibarra in there. And frankly, I would have liked to have seen Hernandez playing right fullback. I'm just going to say what my opinion is. I think he should be playing right fullback over Lennon, and Lennon should be coming in.
Now, Hernandez did not have a great game in Memphis when he got the full game. Now, but
it's how do you judge an individual when their whole team is playing like ass? Like
Yeah.
I didn't completely watch him like with a laser, but he certainly didn't he wasn't like the sore thumb in anything in that game.
No.
So
yeah.
And the reason I say that is because of the way Lennon defended in the Nashville game. So when you can't go up and win a header, and then you get yellow carded for not doing anything, but still you're facing the ball, you should go up and head it. I mean, how do you not win a simple head ball? And how does the referee give a yellow card on that? Anyway, I think we're on to the Nashville game, Dave.
Yep.
Would have liked to gone up there and done the podcast. We talked about doing that. Unfortunately, I'm probably the one who dragged us down.
It's all good. We didn't want to be at that game anyway. Right. So you did us a favor.
So I think start off positive in that game, or do we? Did we start off with a goal in that one?
No, but we started off on the front foot.
That's right. We started off on the front foot. So like my first observation of just like the first half in general was we had good possession. We were moving the ball around with purpose, created some chances. And maybe it was just because we looked so much better than we did against Memphis that I was somewhat pleased with like how the game was like at least not painful to watch. I felt like we're playing better soccer in most of the first half. What did you see in terms of the same tactics maybe that had trickled over from the Memphis game?
Well, the interesting thing is in the Memphis game, right from the very, very beginning, we had the super airplanes, right? I mean, it was almost like Hernandez and Wiley in that game were like, coach says we don't even have to defend at all. 2 is fine in the back, right? And so they were, I think, as I'll get to the tactical board, Pineda feels very strongly that that's what we should do if we're on the front foot, and that's our best lineup, our best tactic. And as long as I think he has started to realize that when we only have 2 in the back, we sometimes give up terrible goals. But he's like, against Memphis, we're not going to do that. So let's do this.
Yeah.
But as I'm going to point out on the tactical board, it's not working offensively either. And that's the problem I have. So it's one thing if it was just generating tons and tons of chances, but it's not, right? So anyway, one of the things I was looking for right from the kickoff is, all right, well, are we going to have, now we have Lennon and Gutman starting again, and are we going to have airplanes? And the answer was no. So they actually were not, super all the way back, but they were very appropriately pushed a little bit in front of the front 2, and they were only going when it was really on.
Yep.
So I think that was a nod to we're playing on the road against a good team in Nashville. So that's a tactic that was changed. Good on us. And what I want to point out is that Lennon in that first half was terrific because he was further back and he was getting up with actual timing.
Yeah.
He was really, really effective in that half, in the first half.
Yeah. Until the second goal, when he was back, by the way, when the keeper cleared it and couldn't get up and win a simple header. I mean, it's simple as that.
We're talking about the second goal.
Second goal. Let's talk about the first goal.
Mm-hmm.
The first goal, I don't know what set up the release of Mukhtar down the left side, but he goes bombing down the left on a ball that was played out wide to him from somebody. and he just blazes down the sideline, cuts into the box.
I
And
think you're talking about the second goal.
is that
So the
the second
first
goal?
goal was a corner kick.
You're right. Sorry.
So the one thing I was going to say is that, Diop came out of the Memphis game as the guy who got the most credit. He made a couple of sensational saves.
He did.
I mean, he cut a double save in there. I mean, he was, and he's always been known as a shot stopper, right? He's very athletic, very quick, whatever. His weakness, which I said, and maybe I'll even go back to what I wrote in that actual game against Memphis, is that Diop has been terrific. His shot blocking ability is excellent. We have yet to see his positional nightmares, right? Which is what he's known for, right? So one thing I will say is that in this Nashville game, they had a series of corners early. And not just on the corner we gave up the goal, but on the 2 ones previous to that, he comes flying up, flapping, and doesn't get anywhere close to the ball.
So I'm glad. This is the first goal. Is an in-swinger corner kick to the near post. We have 3 defenders that are right there clustered right in front of Diop. At the
and they get beat by a great leap by Zimmerman.
Zimmerman flicks it just a bit. Okay. But here's the thing. Diop made the decision to come off his line to punch it. He needed to murder everybody in his way.
He was never getting there. He would have had to go through 3 of our defenders and 2 of their players. He didn't even come within a yard of that.
John Mills would have got through them. You come off your line. You got to push. You got to knock everybody out of the way. I don't know.
What I would say is why come off the line at all when you have 3 defenders who are there to challenge for that ball? Why wouldn't you just stay back?
That's exactly it.
Right.
So that's when I watched this replay. I'm like, we had 3 guys there. Zimmerman did make a nice flick. If he'd have stayed home when you had 3 guys clustered there, I think there would have been less confusion, and maybe even one of our defenders would have gotten a head off the flick. There would have just been less. Like he actually
because sometimes when the goalkeeper is coming, you don't get to the ball yourself because you're like, he's got to get it.
And he kind of, and they didn't see him. They were their backs to him, and he came out, and he should have completely cleaned them out and gotten to the ball. Instead, he kind of cleaned them out and left the line open. Exactly. That's and so
and he did home. That 3 in a row. 3 in a row. He came for balls that he had no business getting to. He wasn't going to get there. He didn't get close to any of them. Right. And that one, if he stays at home, they flick it. He probably just catches that.
And it wasn't a mystery that there were 3. Like, I went and watched it over and over again. It wasn't a mystery that we had 3 of our biggest guys right up on the
net. It was Robinson. It was Parada. We had it all. They were loading up that front post. They were clearly Zimmerman was the target, and we were ready for it.
We were ready for it.
And they challenged. Even when Zimmerman got the flick, he was under a ton of pressure. He was off balance. And he got just a basic flick on it. It wasn't like he got an open, free power header into the goal. It just skimmed off his head and kept going across the middle. The problem was Diop was all the way up there, and he was like, "Oh, what's behind me?" And then it was a tap in at the back post, and they had 3 guys open at the back post. The only one who was possibly reading the danger was Gutman, which is not good. But again, to me, yes. You can argue Gutman should have gotten to that ball. You should have argued we had it better marked up. But at the end of the day, the thing that I thought was the biggest problem is you can't have a goalkeeper at the MLS level flapping at the ball and the goal going in behind him. Anytime you come as a goalkeeper, you don't get close to it and the ball goes past you. That's almost for sure a goal, right? Because anything that gets touched is going in the goal, right? So you can't do that.
Yeah. That's what I mean. If he's coming off, he better be confident he can clear everybody and punch that thing.
Yes.
And he did. He kind of came out weak too. And he should have stayed home because we had 3 people there. All right. On to the second goal. I was just talking about. Mukhtar gets released down the line. Do you remember?
Yes.
I mean, it seemed like we were okay.
So what happened on that play is that Miles Robinson was marking a guy at midfield, and he checked back to the ball. And Miles Robinson went with him and got right on his back like he should have. So they played it to his guy. And
Parata was out on Mukhtar, I believe.
Yeah. So what happened was, Miles Robinson was right on his guy about 10 or 15 yards beyond the half field line in Nashville's end. And he forced his guy to just play it back. So he made a 1-touch pass back. I don't think it's on the clip. but he forced his guy to make a one-touch pass back. Okay, so that's good, right? So instead of coming out and having a guy have all day to turn and play a ball late, play a ball wherever he wants to, which is what happened on the third goal, he was on him, right?
Yeah.
So it went back, and then it was kind of a long ball. So Purata had all day to go read in behind him and be like, okay, where's the danger? It's Hani Mukhtar, right? So,
but do you want Purata matched up against the fastest guy in the field? Like, why is that
I don't
happening?
have a problem with Purata being matched up against Mukhtar at midfield, because two things. So Robinson had been really well to pressure that ball, and Gutman actually was all the way over to help. It was 2v1. They weren't. So I think they clearly said that Mukhtar can't be one-on-one.
Yeah.
So Gutman was there. But the thing about Purata is that he consistently is afraid to try to win the ball at midfield. He's afraid of Hani Mukhtar's pace, or whatever. So instead of what he should have been,
he lays off of him and just keeps
he
backing up.
just laid off of him. What he should have been is right on him. And when Hani Mukhtar made an awesome turn on whatever, just foul him.
Yeah, foul him, or let Gutman come in and try to
get or let Gutman be the second guy and you do it. You cannot have Miles Robinson going and pressuring up the field and then having Purata sag back off 10 yards. That's a disaster.
Yeah. So, then he just blazes down, cuts into the box. Again, Purata's backing off into the box. Backing. And so Mukhtar does a couple of step overs, rips it far post. Diop, I would say, did a nice save. It was a pretty hard ball to collect. I think I'd be critical of him if I said he should have saved it. But
if he did really well, he could have held on.
If he did really well,
but it wasn't really a mistake.
Wasn't really a mistake, and then it comes off his hands, and there's somebody crashing the goal to finish it.
Yep.
So
what I would say is what I think you should take away from that play is that ball forward to Mukhtar started with Robinson right on the back of a guy, forcing him to play back to a back who was about a little bit outside his own 18-yard. He was pretty far back.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a position that is a win for Atlanta United. If their first ball comes out and that guy is forced to play it backwards, now it should be that's the time where you pressure and win it, right? And again, the problem there is he was under pressure, just said, okay, give it to the back. The left back was under pressure. He just kicked it up the field. And Hani Mukhtar was 20 yards wide open.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You can't have two guys working their butts off to get pressure and then a release valve where it wasn't a great ball. He just looped the ball up the field, and Mukhtar was like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
You have got to, if you're going to do that, Purata has got to be on his guy and up the field and challenge for that, right? If you're not going to do that, then Robinson should never go forward, whatever, and we should play saggy, bottom defense.
Yeah. So we're down 2-0, and we are able to luckily salvage a penalty kick. We're at the top of the 18. Somebody plays it across the top of the box to, I think it's Josetu.
It was a beautiful set of balls that ended up, I think it was Lennon who found back to Josetu.
Yeah, Lennon to Josetu. And at first I didn't think it was a penalty kick. I thought that Josetu kind of almost faked a spin dive, but whoever it was from Nashville did drive their knee into the back of his leg. And as soon as that contact was made, especially in this day and age, when it goes to VAR, they're going to call that a penalty. I didn't love it. I mean, it was definitely one where, in a world where there's not VAR, I would have been like, don't give that. But when you watch the VAR,
live, the ref was not going to give it.
Yeah. So and live, it didn't look like, my first blush on it was no penalty. But in the VAR, I looked, and it was one of those where you almost, his knee did drive it right into the back of his leg.
It was reckless from Dax McCarty. He just rammed right into it.
It was, and it was really hard to see without the camera view. And they did show the camera view, even the camera view that wasn't zoomed in and great. But from the right angle, you're like, okay, that is a PK. So,
I thought it was a penalty right from the beginning.
My favorite part of the game, though, was our common cool penalty taker.
Oh my!
Just made the goalkeeper just freeze and look like a bobblehead. It was kind of awesome. And then he ran to go get it out of the goal, and the goalkeeper punted it. And he tried to do like a shake his hand, and then he pulled his hand back, and the goalkeeper like a second later, it was kind of awesome.
He was mocking him.
Yeah, it was a good mocking of just being totally iced. So yeah, good on Almada for a nice PK. So then you're like, okay, this game, you know,
got a chance,
right? But no.
The last goal,
I have a strong opinion, having watched it a couple times now.
Okay,
I'm really shocked that one of the best athletes in the field didn't hustle as hard as I think he should have.
Miles Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah, it was interesting that the guy actually was able to outpace Miles Robinson, and he just ran by him.
Miles Robinson did not give 100% on that play. I watched
No,
it
I
over and
think
over
he
again.
was really frustrated.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's a bunch of players who are frustrated. But so what I would say is, so what happened on that one is, so we are needing a goal. It's very late.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, I think Miles Robinson, everybody else, front foot, you know, try to get it back, give us as many chances as possible. Right. And, you know, so he was trying to get back from a very aggressive attacking spot, and he got next to him, and then he let the guy run by him. But the thing about that play, again, it starts out with Nashville under pressure in their own right corner.
Yeah, and Mukhtar again turns and spins.
So in that play, so he has brought on now Abram.
It was the classic type of thing where it's the counter that you always want when it releases out of the back to Mukhtar, and then we turn and go. That's not what we don't see that from Atlanta.
But here's the thing, and I realized, so first of all, I found out at Memphis that it's Abram, not Abram. Okay. Abram, and rhymes with Philip Lahm.
I did hear that. I did hear that on the broadcast. Someone was saying Abram.
Anyway, but so Abram is clearly was the guy back with Robinson being really aggressive, and Hani Mukhtar is there. And again, Hani Mukhtar goes back towards his own goal, and Abram is afraid to go with him. And here's my thing, Mikey Dobbs. Okay, it's 90th minute or whatever it was. It was very late.
Yeah,
we're down 1 goal, right?
Oh, there was a good 20 yards between him and that ball being released. He takes it down on his chest and spins it. Yeah. So there was nobody putting pressure on him.
But he started out on that play, which you couldn't quite see in the replay, but he started out on that play like 5-7 yards behind Mukhtar.
Yeah.
Mukhtar goes back to the goal, and he wanted no part of it, which I am flabbergasted. So first of all, in my opinion, he should always be, you know, if you got a guy like Mukhtar who's so good on the ball, is quick and fast or whatever, what do you want to do? You want to deny him the ball, or if at least he gets it, don't let him turn. And if he turns you, then foul him.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you want as a coach. Right. So even if you weren't going to do that the whole game, it's the 90th minute. How could you slack off off of their best player in the 90th minute? Because you know we have got to keep the ball in their end. And honestly, if you gamble and lose,
I mean,
who cares?
It's a perfect example in the Manchester City Arsenal game where I think it's Holding or whoever's defending Holland.
Yes.
Like he was on his back too aggressively in that situation.
Yep.
He should have been there, but not quite that aggressive.
Yeah.
But it just shows, like, you got a great player like that, you got to be up and on him. And in that case, it's Erling Haaland, so he's able to just trap it and turn and pass.
I mean, to me, if you're a defender, right, and I mean, it's sort of, I think, counterintuitive for a lot of the fans out there. If you're a defender and you're playing a guy like Erling Haaland or Hani Mukhtar in the MLS, who's one of the quicker, bigger, stronger players, right? It's like, you know, do you remember Seabiscuit when they say if that beast gets loose, you're never going to catch him?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. You cannot, if you're a defender, like if I were defending that guy, I'd be like, ain't no way he's getting more than a foot away from me.
In his ear.
Because I'm going to either try to beat him to the ball, right? If not, I'm going to body him up. And if he turns me or whatever, I'm going to foul him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And so you cannot let a guy like that consistently, like we did in this game, turn and run at the defense. It's just ridiculous.
That was
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's heating up. He's on fire.
All great points. Was Peratz on a yellow card though on that second goal where Mukhtar? It's the only reason because he should have fouled him, right? To your point, or been up higher on him. Was there any trepidation from him because he was on a yellow card? I can't remember. It was pretty early on in the game.
Remember him being?
It was
second half, beginning of the second half.
Yeah.
I don't remember him being on a yellow card, but
Maybe on the that would be the only reason he should have been.
The thing about it is, I mean, what I am noticing about that with both Parata and with Abram is that they're doing it all the time, right? Which means this is not a yellow card thing for them. They just, that's not how they're doing it. So this has got to be coached. Both of them are big physical guys. Both of them are not slow, but they're not the fastest. Miles Robinson, who they have, is fast, right? So in my opinion, they have to be taught to go fight at midfield, right? And actually win the ball.
Yeah.
Win the ball.
Carmen brought it up. He didn't get a yellow card till later on in the game. So
yeah, so I don't get it. And as we're going to get to in a minute, this is part of what was the trifecta of disaster in this game in the last week, tactical board speaking wise. And I'm going to explain to you.